Okay. All right. Okay. So, hello, ladies. Well, we've already said hello, but I just wanted to have like the official introduction. So, thank you so much, Lee, for joining us, and for so graciously agreeing to do this little intro. So I started a course with Lee on intuitive trading, and that was what 2 months ago already. Has it been 2 months?
Yeah, we're on week 8.
Yes, we're on, yeah. And so this experience has been very intense, overwhelming at times, a lot of the time, but mostly I felt that this was super empowering. And I've learned things that I've never dreamt I could do. I never thought I could actually invest. I never thought I could go into the market and choose a crypto and invest and do all the things that we're doing with you, and do it in integrity with my principles and with what I believe in, which is to me the most important thing. And it's been an incredible experience, because really and truly, it's not about the money. I mean, it's not just about the money, really. It was more like a journey of self-discovery, and understanding and deconstructing all the stories we have and the beliefs we have around money, wealth, and how much we deserve this wealth to be abundant and all of that. And my intention is really for this information, for all of this to get out into the world, but more specifically to my community, because I would like my community, and I would like for you girls to feel empowered, to invest not just in any cryptocurrencies, but a cryptocurrency that supports a project that makes your heart sing. And it's possible to do it. And Lee has convinced me that this is absolutely possible, and it's so empowering and it's so amazing. So that's me.
Oh, Sophie, that's such a beautiful kind of lead in, like hearing you talk about it in this way. And it's so how this came about eight weeks ago was just before that. I had this idea and I ran it by a psychic friend that I had just randomly come across online. And I said to her, I've got this idea and it's called Digital Intel Women. And it had 2 L's, as most people spell Intel with 1 L. And it was because of numerology. It added up. It was a 988, added up to wealth. And everything that I do is aligned with inspired action, inspiration. And I had all this information on my heart around clean and green cryptocurrencies. And I also knew about world events, what was going on behind the scenes with currencies like Bitcoin. So most people have heard of Bitcoin, and most people are curious about cryptocurrency right now, and they're looking to invest. And what happens is that the marketing is so exceptional with cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin, Ethereum, you might have heard of Litecoin, these kind of cryptos, but nobody really knows what they're investing in. And so by just putting your money into some of these portfolios, you're actually becoming part of the problem. And I know that no one wants to do that with their good people putting their money in and investing in projects that are part of the dark web or, linked to crime or, so I thought, well, okay, well, I have information that it helps women discern a good investment and helps them choose an investment that really nourishes them, and they know what it's investing. And so what happened, over the course of a couple of years is that everything got exposed. You might have seen the news around blockchain. And so just a little bit of introduction. So how much do you ladies know about crypto? Are you investing now? Do you know about Bitcoin? Where are you at right now? So that way I know how to sort of pitch the content.
I'm a complete beginner.
Yeah. Okay. So you know about Bitcoin?
I just heard of it.
Okay. But you don't know what it is or
exactly. Okay. I don't know the details, to be honest.
Okay, great. Okay, so I know where to pitch. And Sandrine?
I was just very moved by Sophie's enthusiasm, and this is all I know about it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, because Sophie just said, I really want to bring this to my community because it really has helped to sort of move through sort of any money stories. And so by choosing clean and green, what I mean by that is that I've researched the founders, I've researched what projects they're investing in, I've researched the efficiency, I've researched their philanthropy, their humanitarian. And so what we know today is with blockchain, which is just a database of how we store information. So it's the technology that Bitcoin is built on. And it was pretty much interested, like the people that were in the developing space were interested in it about 10 years ago. It was only really people who were technical. So it had a really kind of complicated kind of concept. Only people who were in the know really got involved. And it was part of some very, it was part of moving money where, you know, no one really knew what was going on. And so it was part of, you know, money laundering, and, you know, it was really had some dark attachment to it. And so, and heavily marketed. And so what happened was the price went up significantly, and then people thought, okay, well, we better invest. You know, blockchain is not going away. It's the way we store information. It is new technology, and now we've made it smarter and we've made it cleaner. And by that, what we've done is we've added on smart contracts, which is the rules that define how a transaction will process. And so I discovered a company that was part of the solving a real world problem, which is, remember when you're away and you either, you know, say if you're working away and you need to send money home to your family. Particularly, I lived in the Middle East for a long time. And so I used to work for the airlines. I worked for British Airways. I worked around the world. And this problem was significant with families working away, particularly in the Filipino community, where they would send money home and it would cost them $30, $40. And often that was a one-day wage. We all have sent money or done a bank transfer through Western Union, and it costs money. So I found a company that actually has a cryptocurrency that is part of the solution of real-time transactions. So, you know, efficiency, you know, complete around 57,000 times more efficient than Bitcoin. So Bitcoin, we know today, is inefficient. It is built on the blockchain technology. However, what the goal of, I guess, cryptocurrency was to make sure that it was transparent, and that the servers, or what we call nodes, are dispersed around the world rather than one central area. And so that wasn't the case. They were held in one central area, and they were highly manipulated by one sort of elite group, if you like. And so the majority of everyday people were not able to get involved in this project, either because their heart was saying no, or it was just such a high price point. So to get one Bitcoin today is around $60,000 and climbing. In Australia, it's around 80,000, it's climbing up. And so if you were to invest today, say you had $100 or $1,000, you would get 0.00000 of one Bitcoin. So you wouldn't even have one Bitcoin to be able to trade on market. So the chances of you increasing your portfolio, or even, you know, making a dent in your finances, it's pretty impossible, because, you know, the trading is really around sort of skimming some profits when something goes up, and then investing in, you know, a new project. And that's really sort of where the money is. And so what we ended up doing is looking at projects that were emerging and, you know, opening up at 0.001 or 0.002, not even 1 cent. And that's when, you know, that's really where the money is to be made. And what I discovered is that I could make a trade on $11. I didn't have to have 60,000, you know, to start in this space and to actually start making some money. So my first trade was $11. And then what happened from there, then I made 21, then I made, you know, I started making some profit. It started going up, and I was like, wow, this cryptocurrency, there's really something in this. And the fact that it was clean and it was green is that all the exposure had come to light. And so there's a couple of criteria that you need to look for when you want to look for something that's clean and green. And that is the AML technology, which is anti-money laundering. And you also need to look for KYC, which is know your customer. So these two technology fundamentals will ensure that you're part of something and investing in something that is actually gone through regulation. So today what we have is an ISO 22 regulation. It's like ISO 2000022. And all those cryptocurrencies are part of the quantum financial system. So we also know that the satellite system is called Starlink, and that's going to be free internet for the world, and which is just incredible. We've been asking for this kind of concept. In Australia, we pay an absolute fortune for our internet. It's antiquated. It's like the 80s. And this technology has been around for a long, long time. It's been completely suppressed and owned by a small elite group. And so now this is now becoming available to all of us, and there's cryptocurrencies that are now part of this technology. So this is the quantum financial system. You've probably heard about Jasara and Nasara, which is the economic reform. This is actually all happening and it's been beta tested in the US for a couple of years. So a lot of people say to me, like, is this really happening? Like, could this be possible? It's like dreamlands, right? But it's actually here, and you can actually invest in cryptocurrencies that are actually part of this. So that's why Sophie's so excited, is because you're actually part of the change. So, you know, all of us want to do business, or we want to help people, and we want to make a difference. I know I've done lots of businesses where I've wanted to make a difference, but it just hasn't quite worked out because I haven't been able to get my money situation. You know, I haven't been able to sort of have the continual flow of income so that I could go and do philanthropy or help others out. Now you can actually choose cryptocurrencies that are involved in some of these projects. You know, so there'll be art projects, there'll be community green projects that you can get involved in. You purchase the cryptocurrency, it's like listing it as the share. So shares and stocks are really challenging right now because I need to wait for the market to open, and I don't know what's going to happen. So Wall Street, you've seen in the news, it's been exposed. You've probably heard GameStop. If you watch any of the news, it's very cryptic. It's not really giving you the full truth about what's going on, but we all have eyes on Wall Street, and all the fraud has been exposed. They were manipulating the market. So they would take Bitcoin up very high, get the good people's money in. You would see the marketing everywhere, and their friends were saying, oh, I need to get some Bitcoin, or if someone's got Bitcoin, they think they're rich. There's a lot of ego in this space. And so, but, you know, knowing what it's funding, we're like, oh, okay, well, you know, do you really know what you're contributing to? And so, you know, you can make money so much, but I think, you know, healing women and women with good hearts, I think that eventually something doesn't feel quite right and it never really works out for you. And that's why, is because it was never designed for you. So what Wall Street would do was take the market up, get everyone involved in Bitcoin, and then they would crash the market intentionally. And we knew that this was happening, and all eyes are on it, and the light has been exposed. So, you know, it has exposed exactly what's been going on. And so new cryptocurrencies are coming in to change those processes so that they can't be manipulated. And that's technology. We can do that with technology. Now, a lot of people are scared of technology, but I tell you what, it is changing the game. It's 12-dimensional. It has its own consciousness. You can really choose where you want to invest, and knowing that that technology is supporting you rather than hindering you, because the system was never going to work for you. Doesn't matter what you were going to do, you know, unless you were part of this elite group, you know, it wouldn't have mattered. You know, you would have been, your cryptocurrency would have crashed. You know, so Bitcoin is going up. It's quite misleading to the public. So it goes up, we look for green. And so if it's going up, you think, okay, this is a great investment. But however, like I said, if you're only getting 0.00, it's very difficult to be able to skim those little profits that are coming, and, you know, and use that to buy groceries or pay the rent or whatever that might be, or invest in something else. And the stock market is so volatile, and the US dollar is so volatile. And so it doesn't matter where you are in the world, we're all eyes on the US, because the US is leading the way in this technology. So that's kind of in the nutshell what it all is and why it's a good time. Cryptocurrency has its own new energy. It's light, it's playful. It does, you know, once you start to invest, if you start at $11, you notice a fee. If you started at $10,000 and you never really thought about your money too much, then you won't really notice. And the great thing is that we've all had money stories. We've all had money, lost money, struggled with money, not had money for a cup of coffee. You know, we've been in those situations that have all led us to this place of clean and green cryptocurrency. So now really is our time. You know, this is now built for us.
can you give like a clear definition of what is green and clean cryptocurrencies? Just so that we have
Yeah,
a
so,
clear idea.
yeah. So clean is the anti-fraud capabilities to make sure that, there's no crime involved in your particular investment. So whatever cryptocurrency you choose. So say if you choose, choose a cryptocurrency like XRP. XRP is the company name is Ripple, and they are solving the real-time transactions that I talked about. And so that's clean because you know that the technology will support anything that's fraudulent, because everything is now built on blockchain, and we've added it, we've made it smarter, and we added the smart contracts. So the anti-fraud cannot happen now. So everything we thought about blockchain, we've made it even better with new technology. So that's the green aspect, where we know that the company are clean, we know that the CEO is clean, we know that there's no fraud attached. There's no dark crime attached, and all eyes are on that. And they have to do certain reporting, and they have to be ISO regulated, which is what I talked about. So that's that aspect of the regulation, and they also need to be part of the quantum financial system. So there's regulations in that as well. And then, so the green aspect really is the efficiency. So real-time transactions, no fees. So that's 57,000 times more efficient than Bitcoin. Bitcoin runs, most of the servers are underground, and they run under Three Gorges Dam. You've probably heard the Gorges Dam on the news. There's threats that it might overflow, and that project was actually meant to be for the people, but actually it's using all the technology. So you can imagine a space with thousands and thousands of servers, of computers running all day, all night. Think of the electricity and the energy that's being used. So cryptocurrencies like XRP do not operate in that fashion. And also they are geographically dispersed, which also keeps them clean. So yeah, and so also XRP and other projects, they talk about how many trees you would need to plant to offset that energy that Bitcoin is using is just phenomenal. So when there's all these details around what is 57,000 times more efficient mean, but for us, it just means that when we send money to each other overseas, so if I send money to Sophie, it's just like, it's instant. We don't need to wait, and I'm not paying any fees, and Sophie's not paying any receive fees either. So you think what that can do for global business, it really is just going to open up the market.
Here you mentioned XRP that is helping improve, the real-time transactions. But there are also other cryptocurrencies that are supporting projects like humanitarian projects. I know that Darcy, for example, is investing in cryptocurrencies that are supporting marijuana or CBD projects. So there's a whole range of cryptocurrencies that are supporting a whole range of different projects. And I think that this is the super interesting thing.
Yeah, so one of the girls in the US is actually trading stocks in green companies that are manufacturing hemp and distributing hemp or marijuana, because we all know that, that's a product that should be available to everybody who needs it, not just, a select few, and not just people who have money. So you can invest in that space. With the cryptocurrencies, you can invest in projects like art. And so it's really opened up the market for artists. And so everything, if you think about blockchain being a database, pretty much everything. So the real estate industry, the innovation industry, the education industry, the voting. So voting will be done on blockchain now. So the paper votes have gone. We all know that that's been open to fraud. You'd be a little bit sleepy if you didn't know that. And so everything will be on technology now. So that voting will be on blockchain. So there's certain cryptocurrencies that are connected to that. There'll be education, and your medical files will be on blockchain. So if you think about it, it's a storage system to hold information. And the technology where our information has been stored has been open to fraud. You think Facebook, just think of all these different areas where your information, your private information has been held, and it's been completely exposed to anyone who wants it, pretty much. It's been sold off, and they're like, oh, sorry. We've had banks here in Australia that have been, exposed for 30 million breaches of money laundering. And that just won't happen under the blockchain. And then they get a tiny sort of news press at the back of the paper and say, sorry. You know, and nobody really reads that stuff. But, you know, when you're in this space and when you're in the financials, you start to recognize what's really been going on. And the great thing is that coming into cryptocurrency right now, the energy is there. And so all this has been exposed. So, you know, most of the time, good people just never, ever really got started. They might have bought some and found some, oh, I had a bit of Bitcoin somewhere, you know, stashed somewhere, but I didn't really know what to do with it. And so all these platforms and everything is completely opened up. But databases, blockchain goes across all of our industries. I noticed just the other day, it was for fabric. For locating, so a database of storage for locating where your fabric's from. Okay, so think about diamonds, think about, you know, anything that was worth a lot of money, think about gold, think about silver, you know, think about all these commodities that were, you know, under the command of one elite, you know, so for people who were holding the power. So anything that really holds information can be stored on the blockchain now. So you can get involved in projects that are backed by commodities, silver, gold, palladium. Palladium is going to be used in the Tesla. Well, it is used today in the Tesla. And so you can get involved in these projects. So what I call the X family are XRP sisters and brothers that are part of the infrastructure. And so I come from a technology background, but if you think about, you know, all the things that need to happen to support the real transactions around the world, to support the trading, to support the holding of databases, we need servers, we need computers, we need technology, and we need applications that talk to each other, you know, those kinds of things. So different projects like Stellar, XRP, Algorand, XDC. So XDC, the Zinfin network, is the network of all the banking systems that will be held on, because we all know that we've been paying way too many fees for banking, and most people that had money were in an offshore account anyway and not paying any of that TAX that we all love. And so we've spent most of our lives trying to avoid that because we're trying to set up structures of companies, but really nothing's really been set up for you to be able to help you really capitalize on your portfolio, unless you were from a wealthy family, really, or unless you had inherited money, or you'd bought one Bitcoin like 10 years ago and now it was, you know, exceptionally high. But, you know, the money was really held in one central deposit. Now it's going to be held across the board. So anyone can get into XRP. Your minimum trade is $11, knowing that you're going to be part of a project that's going to solve a real problem. So any other questions?
Any questions, lady?
No, don't know. What about how to get started and that kind of thing? Sophie, what do you?
That's what I was going to tell you. So imagine, well, that was my case a few weeks ago. Imagine I have absolutely no idea. I don't know anything about cryptocurrencies, but I'd like to, let's say, invest in one cryptocurrency. What do I do?
So you would need to open up an exchange. It's like opening up a bank, and you would then, it literally is find XRP. I would go for XRP because it's the main player, and the rest of the brothers and sisters. So there's other cryptocurrencies like ADA that are doing great projects. And then what you can do is you can just go and search. So you can look at the cryptocurrencies, you can look at the list. There's, you know, depending on the exchange, there'll be 100 listed. Bitcoin's usually at the top because it's trying to get your attention. And so just have a look at the list, and where people are investing. Usually, you know, have a look at the quiet achievers and have a look at, you know, you've only got a little bit of money, you want to invest in a cryptocurrency that is doing great work, but is also, you know, got utility, which means that, you know, it has value, because Bitcoin actually is completely overinflated and it doesn't do anything. It's just a digital currency. And that's why many of us were like, well, how is this ever going to work? How is this actually going to be anything? It's because it doesn't really solve any problems. It's built on technology, and it's a new concept. So that's exciting, but it doesn't actually do anything. So XRP is a company doing great work. And then if you move down the list, ADA, what's another one? XLM, Algo, they're all doing really great work. But I think it's really important that you educate yourself and discern a really good investment by searching. So you can look at the code of the cryptocurrency. So say it's XRP, you just type XRP and it gives you a little bit of information about the company and what it's doing. There's a great site called Coin Market, and you can research there. There's a great YouTube video that's free called Altcoins, and you can start learning there. It's really important that you're discerning a really good investment and then find out what it's doing and which area, because each cryptocurrency on an exchange, for example, would be called Binance with the B. And there's also a Binance coin. Now, those coins are really high priced. So I would look at getting into a market which is like under $2, under $1 per cryptocurrency. And that way, you know, you've got room to grow. Cryptocurrency is not going away. It's here to stay. And people are panicking about money in the bank and things like that. I wouldn't be panicking. Your money is good. The thing is that the value of the dollar, which we are all impacted by, no matter where we are in the world, it would need to have utility, because in the past, before now, they've just been printing paper money. So it's been equally as fraudulent as, you know, something like Bitcoin, where it's had nothing, no actual value and not backed by gold or anything like that. So you want to choose cryptocurrencies that are backed and have utility, and which means that the company can't just list a random coin on the exchange. You want to make sure that it's you've gone through that criteria that I've given you earlier. And if you've just jumped on, it's in the call. And so those criteria, you want to make sure that it's linked to the quantum financial system. You want to make sure it's got anti-money laundering, all those criteria, it's ISO regulated, that kind of thing. So you need to open an exchange. You literally pick one for your area, depending on where you are. So some common ones for the United Kingdom would be Qcoin, would be crypto.com, eToro. So they're all kind of exchanges, if you like, where you can actually buy cryptocurrency. Now, some of these exchanges have minimum requirements. So you'd want to choose one that doesn't have a minimum requirement. Even Coin Mama is quite a good one. Now, what I invite you to do is not, if you do invest $1,000 or $2,000, or if you are in that space, I would recommend that you don't leave your coins on the exchange. So you say you buy XRP, I would recommend then you move your cryptocurrency to what's called a safe wallet, which means that you can access it on your own private computer and it's not on the open exchange. So there's a couple of things that you need to do to keep yourself secure. You also need to make sure that you've downloaded two-factor authentication. So this is the techie things when getting started. It really is only 3 steps. It's pretty simple. Open up an exchange. You need to register. And sometimes on the registration, you need to sort of put a form up, prove that it's you, take a photo. You need to download a two-factor authentication, which is an app on your phone. I use the red and white one. And once you've done that, then you make sure that's enabled and you've got top security on your exchange. Most people have cryptocurrencies held on an exchange with no two-factor authentication and no additional security. So, you're open to hacking. Although I feel like most of the exchanges that have gone through the criteria now that are still around, that have made the cut, have been through the rigmarole of making sure that they've got the extra security attached, based on past experiences of people's accounts being hacked and things like that. I think we've all been a little bit paranoid. Like I even sort of cover when I'm at an ATM, I'm covering my PIN up and things like that. So there's real goodness ahead. And I think that people need to really recognize this, that so much has been going on behind the scenes. I'm not sure how, aware you are of world events, but it's all been playing out. We've probably been feeling it in our bodies. But yeah, the system prior to now was not set up for you. And so it wasn't the right time to get into cryptocurrency, but now is the right time. So that's good news. And you can start, if you choose one without a minimum requirement, you can start your first trade at $20, $50. And what you do is you wait for that to go up. And then if you really need to, you can either take a little bit, sell a little bit, or take a little bit of that profit. And then you can buy another cryptocurrency. And so the more astute that you get and more aware that you get of these green cryptocurrencies coming through, you might want to invest in, say, an art project that's built on the blockchain. And that's something like Mural, where, everyone's contributing a piece of art. One lady contributed a photo of her mum who passed away, and that's locked on the blockchain. So once it's locked in the database, then it can never be removed. So those kinds of projects are really, really beautiful. Now, that project is not going to be a big money spinner for you, but it's going to be a very sentimental project that you might want to get involved in. But right now, I feel that most of us really want to get our money stories cleared up and start to make a bit of money, because I can tell you now, when people are making money, everything else, all your other worries seem to go away. And so the crypto space really does change that for people. It really does shine the light, because especially if you're starting at such a minimum trade, you're really recognizing if that particular exchange is going to charge you 1 cent, 2 cents, you really notice. And so it really is such a great opportunity. And so Sophie was saying, it's really helped her sort of clear and move through and defragment anything that was really holding her back from any business, any sort of monetary gain, anywhere. It's really the platform to really play in, and you can play safe. So you don't have to put big money in there. And if you are putting big money in there, you'd want to make sure that you've got some support and some education prior before you invest, some big money. Any other thoughts? Any questions?
Stella.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
I'm Stella. Yes. Sorry, I joined late. So
That's
sorry
okay. Glad you're on.
Yeah, thank you. I had a question. I mean, it's just to understand, so cryptocurrency, when you buy Bitcoin, for example, you can use it as a currency or as an investment. So what about for example, XPR that you were talking about?
Yeah.
Is it the same way as well, or is it more for investment?
They're all the same. They're all the same. Bitcoin is just the one that's known about because it's heavily marketed, and that's because it's been run by the elite. And so, so I would look at, they're all the same. So you'll see the list, you'll see Bitcoin, you'll see Litecoin. They're all very much the same. And there's some that are not going to be around. In other words, they haven't been through the ISO regulations. They're not part of the quantum financial system. So you'd want to pick a cryptocurrency that, well, one, is going to go up, is here to stay. So when you talk about investing, if you're going to put $100 into XRP, the investment piece means that it's going to be around, so that you could just leave your investment in there and know that it's going to increase. But you can also, if it goes up in price, so just recently, like yesterday, Sophie, it went up like 30%. And, we're all like, oh, okay, well, we've got money now. So, your bank money doesn't go up 30% in a day. So it literally has been shooting up quite regularly. And because it's solving such a big problem, we also know that it's not going to just disappear. So, you want to make sure that, wherever if you're talking about investing, you want to make sure that's going to be around. And so, luckily I've got the knowledge. So, this is all the information that I wanted to share with women that was sitting on my heart. All the cryptocurrencies that I share in an intuitive trader, I'll say like, okay, this is just about to go. And we've usually got about 12 hours, 24 hours, and I'm using my intuition. I'm literally using my pendulum. If I look at graphs, it usually doesn't work. I have tried to understand the graphs before, and I've said to my mentor, like, what's that do? And he's like, that line crosses there, and then you do that, and then and when I've done that, it hasn't worked. So when I use my pendulum, it's like, should I invest? How much should I invest? $10, $20? And I do that for women. We did that with Sophie. How much should she invest? And, it kind of pays off. Obviously, it's better if it's your pendulum and it's coming from your own muscle testing and your own body and your own intuition. But you will, once you start to, this is just the beginning, but once you start to explore this space and realize that actually, hey, I can get in with $50 or $100 or, so anytime that we get a little bit of money now, we always put it straight into crypto. So I don't leave it in the bank. I put it straight into crypto because I have certainty, because I've done my research. So you just want to make sure that you've picked coins that are part of the X family. I've mentioned a few, but it's like, I can't mention like all of them. There's about 100 of them at the moment that are pretty much guaranteed to be around tomorrow, but also increase your portfolios. But the ones that I'm really looking at, there's other ones that you can get on a different exchange, which are started at 0.01. I bought them at 0.01. Like not even a cent, right? So you can imagine how many I can get for my $10 or my $20. And so I got thousands. And so that's where the investments are. Like if you really want to make some money, because that's now like 12 cents, right? And that's only going to go up. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't go down from 1.001 if it's solving a real world problem. It's like shares, you know, like it's the new way to invest. Like shares and stocks has really gone away. That was a really long answer to, hopefully I've even answered your question, Stella. Are there any more points on that?
Yes, thank you.
Anything else that you want to ask on that? Like, are you?
Yeah, I mean, you were mentioning, for example, that, okay, for example, let's say you invested in Bitcoin. I mean, you put money, you bought some Bitcoins, and then it goes up. So you can use that money either to, use it, but you can also use it to invest in other, I mean, to buy other cryptocurrency, for example.
Yes.
That could be a way
Yeah.
to.
I would stay away from Bitcoin because you won't get much for your money. And it's only going up. If anything, it's great when Bitcoin goes up. A lot of people, good people, have got their money in there. And so, you know, what's happening behind the scenes, they're not going to crash that market. They're going to steadily decline and make sure that Bitcoin has utility. Like, give Bitcoin a job if you like. But to do that, they would have to make the technology smarter. And so it's so antiquated and old. Remember, Bitcoin's 10 years old, and remember that technology has been suppressed. So it's almost like, you know, from the 70s. And so it's like heavy cryptocurrency. So you won't get much for your money. But yes, it's the same. So you invest in something like XRP, XLM, ADA, knowing that they've actually got a project. So they've got utility attached to the cryptocurrency. So it's got value. So anytime you want to invest there. Now, the great thing is the price points are so low, so you've got more opportunity to make more money. So if you know, have $60,000 and you get one Bitcoin and it goes up 3%, 4%, I mean, that's great, right? But that's like a term deposit in a bank. But wouldn't you prefer to get something that goes up 6,000%? Because that's really where the money is to be made. And so this is the message I really want to get out to everyone, is that starting out, never in cryptocurrency before, you want to look at cryptocurrencies that are really low in the price points, but are part of this quantum financial system and also part of the technology. So they've got the anti-money laundering, they've got the KYC, they've got the extra security, and they've been ISO regulated. So you want to check all that, and really low price points, knowing that that's going to go up. You've almost got a guarantee. I mean, Sophie, you've made some money. you want to share your experience?
Yes. So at first, when I first started, I got really overwhelmed because, as you can see, Lee is very enthusiastic, and so there's a lot of information that comes into that community, and I was like, ah! And so what I did, I just gave myself one task, and this is what you said, Lee, because you know, quite a few of us were getting overwhelmed, and said, okay, just for this month, it was for this month, just open one exchange and choose one cryptocurrency. And that's what I did. So I opened my very first account was with Bitrue, which was a bit long, but you know, I finally got that. And then I invested in XRP, and that was my very first investment, and I was quite excited. So it's, to me, the way I managed my feeling of overwhelm was just, as you said, Lee, was just to do one thing at a time and just really exploring that thing. So with XRP, for example, I just waited and I started studying, doing the research, using the you know, coin market, going on to Ripple, the website, just studying, but doing this only for one so that I wouldn't get overwhelmed, and then seeing how I was feeling about XRP. And so, and the intuitive trading, intuitive side of it was, yes, you do your research. So it's not just, oh, let me just invest in that. It's you do your research. You make sure that the cryptocurrency that you're investing in it feels good. Basically, that's what it is. Does it feel good for you to invest in this? And then you use that intuition and the research, and then you just invest. So there are different types of investment, but XRP for me, for example, is long-term investment. So I've bought quite a few XRPs. I mean, you know, not thousands and thousands, but you know, you want to use the money, and that's something that is quite important, the money that you're gonna feel okay losing
To lose. Mm.
to start with.
Okay.
So, for you, Lee, it was $11. It doesn't
Mhm.
have to be.
That's all I had. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and in fact, Lee, after we're done, I would like you also to share your story at the beginning. What financial state you were in when you invested, and how that helped you gain self-confidence and things like that. So yeah, so it's all about doing one thing, just choosing one exchange to begin with, and then choosing one cryptocurrency, and then just observing for a little bit. And then once you feel a little bit more self-confident, maybe you can trade it, maybe you can open a safe wallet, maybe you can buy another cryptocurrency, and then little by little, that helps build your portfolio. And
Yes. Hi. Just a question. You said opening your first exchange. So does that mean that we can open several of them? I mean, several exchanges? Or just one and we find all the crypto in one exchange?
It's a good question. So with you'll need to choose an exchange. If you're choosing XRP, which I recommend, I mean, I wouldn't be, I'm not pushing it, but if you're not getting involved in this project, you're kind of, holding back, if something's holding you back for a reason, and it's like there needs to be some questions answered for you to feel good about that. And so you would need to choose an exchange which is selling XRP, which has XRP listed now. And then, so what Sophie talked about, this is what we do in Intuitive Traders. So we start with one cryptocurrency. You get really comfortable with that and really certain of that, and you watch that grow. And your confidence grows when your portfolio goes up in value. And then what happens is then I will drop coins that are very, very low price points that are going to take a little bit longer to grow. When I say longer, I'm talking like 1 month at the moment. The pace is so extreme. The pace is this is such a dynamic space. Yeah, it's like interesting. One girl started for 2 weeks and she'd made her money back, but she hadn't made any profit. And she was like, I've been in 2 weeks and I don't know what's going on and I haven't made profit. Am I doing something wrong? And then all of a sudden then her account shot up. So it's almost plays with you. It plays with you in this crypto space. It's like making sure that you're doing your research, it's feeling good to the soul, because if you choose a cryptocurrency that doesn't feel good to your soul and where you're going and your mission, it won't work. But your answer to your question around, can you have multiple exchanges open? Of course you can. You can have, I think I've got 12, because certain coins, particularly when I'm looking at the very low price points, they aren't listed on every exchange, which means that they are in more demand. And then when so we get them before they get listed on big exchanges. And then when they get listed on big exchanges, then they get the attention of everyone. Okay, for anyone who's in cryptocurrency would see it come listed, but we try and get in there before it gets listed. So once it gets listed, which is usually 2-3 weeks later, or even a month later, it's like adds value. So your crypto portfolio goes up because the more people that invest. So the top coins now are where people are investing, where the high marketing is Bitcoin. And I look at the coins and I think, I'm not going there, because I know they're going to be really high priced. They're Binance. These are all the high price ones, Ethereum, Theta. Theta's at $16. So these are all the ones. So Theta is a cryptocurrency that's supporting the technology for video streaming. So a lot of people are interested in that because we've all been at home on our Netflix. So, people look at those kinds of projects and that's how they do their marketing. They're playing to your emotion. I mean, this is marketing, right? And so does Bitcoin. You need to get in the market. You must get your money in Bitcoin. This is the types of stuff that goes on. So like Sophie said, start with one before you open up multiple accounts. It does take a while because you need to get the hang of it, and you need to make sure you've got your 2-factor authentication as well. So the first exchange usually takes you a little bit longer because there's a process. The process is great because you know that you're secure. It's like registering for a bank. You've got to have your passport, you've got to have your license, or, you know, you've got to have ID, and then it's got to get, you know, referred, and you've got to get approved, you know. So it's the same process, because you're holding money, you're holding value, you're building a digital asset portfolio. So it's like having houses there, you know, and then when the house price goes up, you know, you can get some money out to then sort of go and redecorate or buy another property, or, you know, it's the same sort of concept. It's just that now we're investing in companies that are changing the way that we live, improving our quality of life. So it's exciting.
Okay, all right.
I'm really good at short answers, aren't I? But that's trying to give you a bit more flavor and a bit more vision of what's possible for, you know, for someone who doesn't have like regular income coming in, or maybe you've got a stash, but if you've got a stash in the bank, you know where to put it now. You know,
Okay.
and if you're getting, you know, only invest what you can afford, because it's like, so my story is like, I was building a network marketing company, but, you know, everything started to sort of fall apart, and it just wasn't feeling good anymore. And I didn't, you know, I was working for the airlines for years and years, and then I came down with dengue fever, and they just ended my contract. I mean, I used to fly to capital cities and then just be on Zoom anyway. And I was really good at my job, and I made really great money. So I was in a lifestyle. I had an Audi, you know, I had a property. I had, you know, I was living the dream. I was flying in and out everywhere. Really had a great lifestyle. And then they literally cut my project, and I didn't want to do it anymore. So when you get, you know, an extreme virus, or you get really sick, you have time to think. And similar to, you know, sort of what's going on in the world today, and it's like you get time to reevaluate, and people are reevaluating everything right now. And so cryptocurrency is getting a lot of attention, and so you want to kind of get into the market, you know, quite young, if you like, so that you can let your portfolios grow. And so people are paying like brokers and things like that to trade for them, when you can open up your own exchange. It's like, no, don't pay anybody. You know, people are out there knowing your fears and your emotions right now and capitalizing on it. And so this is why Sophie wants to get the message out there to her community. It's like, be discerning. You know, people are trying to lure you in. Bitcoin's trying to lure you in, and, you know, and that's not where the growth is going to be, and it's not going to feel good to your soul, and it's not going to work. And so, yeah, I was diving around, you know, looking for information on real world events. I'm like, what's really going on? And I'm quite inquisitive. And this is what I'm finding in this space, is that women, you know, men and women who are entrepreneurial, or even sort of interested in cryptocurrency, they're quite curious, and they like to research, and they like to discern, and they like to sort of test it, you know, how does it feel in my body, that kind of thing. And so we're quite intuitive. And so I find this space a really beautiful space to kind of harness that. And so I was digging around, and I found this guy that was writing this journal called Conspiracy Theory Daily. And I was like, who is this guy? And he was writing about everything that was going on in the world. He was talking about the quantum financial system. And being in my background, you know, with analyst background, I was like, wow, this is really fascinating. I didn't know this about Bitcoin. I didn't know this about cryptocurrencies. And 6 months before that, I thought, I'm going to learn this cryptocurrency. All my friends were in, they were making really great money. They're all in Bitcoin. But for some reason, it just didn't feel good to me. And I didn't have a lot of money. And when I realized that I could just put $11 in, I was really reluctant. I'd opened up my first exchange, and he'd given me a chart, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I opened up my first exchange called CoinSpot, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't even need to put thousands of dollars in. I could just put $11 in. And so I did $11, and then it went up to $21. And I was like, this is awesome. And, you know, I didn't even have money for a cup of coffee. I wasn't working, you know, and I hadn't really learned how to manage my money, because I'd been making so much. And so I was reluctant to even put that in. I was scared. And so what I find is that it's really important to be liquid. And by that liquidation, I mean, I can get that money out straight away if I want it. So these exchanges are really important, that you play in this space and you take a little bit of money out, or you send a little bit of money. So we can pay. The future as in like next month, I would like all of you, depending on what you do for work, is to be charging cryptocurrency and being paid in cryptocurrency, because that's really where we're going, and that's where the banks are going. So whatever you're doing, and so this space is really beautiful because you can build a portfolio and then you can take time to really work out what you really want to do. And so that was my story, kind of, you know, extended out. It wasn't that long ago. It was only 4.5 months ago. So, and now I'm teaching cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
That's
4.5 months ago,
that's
which
how
is
fast.
nothing.
What's that,
That's
Sophie?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's what I was going to highlight, that it was just 4.5 months ago, which is like nothing. And to go from this to what you're doing now, and helping also other women and learn about this, to me is just, it's like a great story.
Yeah, well, it's the ripple effect, and we're involved with a company, XRP. The company is called Ripple. It's the ripple effect. And I was like, oh, the pennies just started dropping. And I was like, wow, all this fraud has really been happening because I've been feeling it in my body. And I've been frustrated with the system. You know, I've been fighting the system my whole life. It's like frustrated with fees and all this kind of stuff. And I was like, wow, this is all getting exposed. And it started to open up my eyes. And then I joined back on Twitter because I was like, oh, I didn't even really understand Twitter, how it all really worked. And got back on there and I realized there's this whole community that has started on $11 like me. You know, and $20 is a very humble community. Whereas if you go into a community like Bitcoin, because it'd gone up in so much value, there's so much ego still there. Whereas I was just completely humbled. My finances have gone to zero. So I'm with a community that are building, not with a community that are here. Yeah. So you'll notice the difference in teachings as well. You know, because this is a very intuitive, I was intuitively guided to this guy on that day and he became my mentor. And so now today he shares information with me and I'll go, what about this coin? What about that? You know, and he gives me his perspective. The most heart-centered man, he does it all for, you know, like I've paid him some cryptocurrency, but most of the stuff he does for free. And I was like, I can actually do this. I've always wanted to do philanthropy. I mean, now I charge a little bit. That's to cover the bills. But, you know, I just announced to one of my friends that I'm retiring next month, the end of the month. I'm retiring. 4.5 months ago.
You're retiring?
I'm just going to retire from work and I'm just going to do philanthropy.
Wow.
I'm just going to share my story about cryptocurrency and what's possible.
But you said that you started to buy cryptocurrencies 4 months ago?
Yeah, it was about 4.5 months ago. I bought my first trade of $11 of XRP.
Okay. And now, so you are retiring because...
Yeah, I'm not retiring because I'm a millionaire yet, but I'm retiring from the hard. I'm retiring from the work. Yeah. And I'm following my intuition and I'm now part of a program, Winds of Spirit. So I'm doing my shaman teacher training and I'm blending all this into just flow because Sophie, if you remember on the Intuitive Trader, I shared my vision for what work will be. So life has changed for everyone. And so I'm very versed on world events and what's actually happening in the world. And so I know what's coming. And so I can announce something like that without, whereas to most people, that's like fully extreme. That would be like, oh, she's a millionaire, like she's driving a Ferrari. That means she's retiring because that's how we've associated it. But it's more about, we will get to create our own jobs now. Okay, so we will be paid by the state. Okay, so if you want to create your own job, you'd want to be, if you're going to get paid by the state, you'd want to be doing something that's really making a difference. So you'd want to be in philanthropy, you'd want to be in a project, you'd want to start dreaming and bringing to life some of these aspirations that you've always had, working with animals, working with communities. A few of the girls want to build schools, education. So this is all possible now. And think about the timelines that have sped up. So this 3D to 5D really is a reality now. And so the three-dimensional living is really where the fear is. I'm not sure. It's like the to-do list. That's really shifted and changed. We've felt it in our bodies. So we're now in that, you know, that 5-dimensional space of living, which really means that it's collaborative. It's like community projects. Okay, so we need green food. We need food that's not sprayed. We need, you know, it's back to health. It's back to healing our own bodies. So, you know, Sophie's in the, you know, the resonance. You know, this is really where we are, but it's not 3 years ahead. It's here now. So, you know, when I first started the Intuitive Trader, in the beginning, I said, this is the first and the last program I'll be running. So things are shifting so quickly because I'm following the winds. I'm just flowing with wherever, you know, things take me. So if you want to get paid by the state, you want to make sure that you're teaching, educating, sharing, doing all the things that you love, based on your human design and based on your, you know, natural innate abilities. And mine is teaching and education. I've always wanted to do it. And now I have a forum, you know, so you want to, if you're going to get paid by the state, you want to make sure that it's a higher pay, you know. So if you're, I guess, working in a coffee shop right now, and you're quite content, quite happy, because many of us have just gone, I don't want to do the corporate job. I'm just happy working in, you know, the coffee shop. I know exactly what I get to see great customers every day. I get to light them up. You know, it's wherever you feel good, but that's going to be a certain pay rate, right? So, you know, I know this sounds really far-fetched, but these visions that I get, like, they're really coming to life because I know what's ahead. You know, so all this frustration, the system hasn't worked for us, you know, the big TAX, all that's going away. So we'll only be paying luxury tax now, and that'll be incorporated in any purchases. So the whole tax system was illegal. The whole system in the UK has all been shifted. And so what's happening right now is that the narrative is playing out to wake people up. And so it's very interesting times, and the perfect time to start thinking about, like, how do you want your future to look? And cryptocurrency, green and clean cryptocurrencies are just such a beautiful space to really start to create that feeling of prosperity so that you can live in the 5D. Yeah.
So a little action plan, because we had said that we would set you a little task if you're up to the challenge, would be for you to open your first exchange and just invest in one cryptocurrency. So you can use, obviously, you can choose the cryptocurrency that Lee has recommended, or you can do your own research if you want.
Yeah, go down the list. Go down the list. There'll be a list, and you can literally go down the list like that. You know, is it XRP? Is it ADA? Is it Binance? It's Bitcoin? You know, just go down the list. It does work.
It does work.
I don't have this. I don't have this.
You don't have a pendulum?
No.
What about you? Your intuition will tell you. Your intuition will tell you.
She's very intuitive. She's very intuitive. So she actually doesn't need a pendulum. She can just use her own intuition.
There you go.
So yes.
Yeah. So is everyone ready to invest? Or is there any questions that is anyone sort of still not sure? Like, and we can address these now. Any sort of uncertainties about what's ahead?
I would say, yeah, I have a question about when can we start? I mean, if, for example, I don't start now, when can I start? Is it now or never? Or is it perhaps next month?
Well, the thing is, you'll never get to it. You'll never get to it. So, yeah. So I would start today. I would open up your first exchange today. It's literally click on a button. And Sophie has, you know, depending on where you are, because you need to get the registration happening. Right. So you need to have it in the first of your mind. I wouldn't wait until next month, because all the rest of you're in the UK, the rest of the UK will be in cryptocurrencies next month. And you could have already reaped 1 month of profit. This is where it's going. People are, you'll see now, like, you'll see the marketing. It's all get into cryptocurrency, get your money out of the bank. And there's all these scare tactics happening. People are freaking out. They're not sure that the bank is going to be around. The bank will be around. It's just they had to change over their technology because it was so open to fraud. So the bank will still be around, but your dollar just won't have the value, or your pound just won't have the value. So, you know, you either want to invest in commodities like silver and gold, or if that hasn't felt good, then you want to invest in cryptocurrencies. I personally like crypto because it's agile and I can travel. I don't have like a big piece of silver and gold in my home, although I do like the healing properties of silver. So, you know, this is where we're going. You know, people are panicking. They're at the bullion shop picking up their silver and gold. You know, so all the gold and silver has been dispersed or removed from the elite, and it's now come back to the good people. Good people will be rewarded from now on. And so it's a good time to get into crypto now. And so if you wait for a month, then if you think about everyone panicking and putting their money in, you want to reap the fact that everyone's going to put their money in Bitcoin. You want to go into another crypto that's going to benefit from the influx of money going into cryptocurrencies. Yeah.
You
And
can
because what's
start,
going to happen,
so when you could start by just opening an account, an exchange account. So that could be the action. If you want to wait a little bit, I mean, as Lee was saying, it's good to get on the action quite quickly, because then you use the momentum to go and invest. But if you at least open an exchange and then have a look, because I think on Bitrue you don't have you don't need any money to be on Bitrue, because I didn't invest straight away. I think I waited a day or something like that. So if you go on to Bitrue, open it and then just see what's going on, see how you feel about it, because it's probably going to trigger
Bitrue's intense. Bitrue's like a real trading site. So this is what I want to do, is I want, women to have influence on some of these sites, because some of them are very user friendly, but then they've got high fees and people don't notice because they're like, oh, it's so easy to buy. It's like, so we really start at the grassroots level, if you like, so that you really discern and learn where to input your money. Yeah, it's very, very simple to get into cryptocurrency. Like, it really is simple once you've got your first exchange open. It literally is buy. And then you need to, then the next steps are make sure you're liquid, know how to get your money out if you need it, those kinds of things. So a lot of people have money in crypto, but they don't know where it is. It's with a trader, or it's with someone, or they can't remember the account number, or what,
the password.
Literally, yeah, or the password. And they've literally just let their money just go. And so that's a money story in itself.
Right.
So don't hold back. Yeah, I mean, there's a reason why Sophie wanted to bring cryptocurrency to you, and there's a reason why we're sharing the message. Is I can only get it out to so many people. It's like, how do we spread the word? And it's at the moment it's through Zoom. It's the only way right now. But it's like, yeah, in a month's time, it will be a completely different market. There'll be so many people in crypto. It will be common language. And the scary thing is that they won't necessarily know what they're investing in. But you will, because you've started to open your mind to the possibility. So if you started to drop the clues, you can't go back now. Do you know what I mean? Like, news, things that people say, you'll pick up more now. It'll be coming like, hey, it'll be here until you do it. And it will be, I call the ding dong moments. If you don't do it, it will just keep ding dong, you'll get synchronicities. Or somebody else would have made money ahead of you if you haven't done it. So yeah, get in now, because in a month's time, it will be a completely different market. It will be common language, I feel.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I have I think 2 months ago, I have opened an exchange on Coinbase to buy Bitcoins. But
awesome.
So now that I heard what you were saying, so what I was thinking is like using those Bitcoin that I have, and yeah, it grew as well since I bought them.
Yeah, well done.
To buy maybe some green cryptos. The only thing is, it's more, I suppose the most important as well is to do your research and to know what you are buying, I guess.
Yeah, and it's important to know what's happening in the world, because that kind of sets you free, of all the baggage and all the ancestral, generational patterns of money and things like that, and the stories. So if you know what's happening in the world, the great thing is that I'm coming to you with the research. And if you want to discern it, then you can run it by Sophie, and then you can discern it a third time through your own filter. But it's like, XRP is part of the quantum financial system, which is linked to Starlight, which is all the satellites that are going up that is part of the free internet. So all these projects are all happening, and XRP is facilitating it all. You know what I mean? It's like the middle person, if you like, where everything is stemming from. So it's like the gold. They're equating it to the gold standard. So in my heart, I know that that's only going to go up. So it's gone from 30 cents to $2.20 or something, and it's due to go up to $5.89 So you can imagine like that's such a huge jump, whereas Bitcoin is just going up a little bit. Great thing is Bitcoin is going up because cryptocurrencies are going up. People are putting their money in. So that's great. Well done for even like opening you've got the exchange open. Make sure you've got your two-factor authentication on that. And then I would look at opening BitTrue and then potentially moving your Bitcoin over to BitTrue and then trading a coin that is like 0.12 cents or something like that, so that you know that it's going to grow. So the Zenfin network is the one that we look at on BitTrue, and that's XDC. And so everything's like X's, and usually the logos are black and white, so there's a little bit of a clue. And usually you want to make sure it's part of like, so Zenfin is part of the banking system. So all our banks have had to swap out the technology because they were just completely manipulated and fraudulent. Yeah, so Zenfin is a good one for you to invest in. Send your Bitcoin across, and yeah, like awesome. I mean, you know, this is the thing. Everyone sort of knows about Bitcoin, and it's great because it goes up in value the more people that put their money in. And so what will happen is Bitcoin will start to level out because it's got no, like it's not doing anything. They'll need to give it a job. So there is thought that XRP is going to work with Bitcoin and Litecoin, which are very high price. And they're going to kind of put them to the side and they're going to give them some utility. So you can imagine XRP is going to come up or they're going to level out. Okay, so XRP is like $2 right now, right? And it's been held back by the market because it's like they've got to get the systems right in the back end. Have you all noticed like PayPal down for maintenance, banks down for maintenance? You know, it's all a clue. It's all happening. I love seeing it because I'm like, and then, you know, the exchange might be down for maintenance. Coinbase was down for a little while. Coinbase will actually be registered on the exchange now as a stock that you can invest in. Coinbase have done a lot of work. So I don't know if you noticed, but you will now. You will now, when you see these notifications, you'll be like, okay, it's all swapping out. We're going through a global currency reset. Most people don't know. The world has changed. Like, it's not going back to the way it was. A lot of people go, I can't wait to get, you know, my life back. It's going to be so different. And it's like, do you want to be part of the action or do you just want to have your same old life? Because my old life wasn't working for me. I was sick. I was full of radiation poisoning. You know, I was constantly trying to get well, spending money on therapy. You know, it wasn't that great. So, yeah.
So, ladies, I'm going to be dropping a summary of all the main points because I realize that this is quite a lot of information. The replay is also going to be available for you to listen again if you want to take notes or if there's anything that you want to revisit.
Where will it be available?
When?
You'll give us a link.
Yes. I'll send you a link. Yes, it's recording now, so I'll send you a link. And then if you've got any questions, and I can also have like a separate little tutorial where we can all open an account together or something like that, if you want. But we'll see after. But at least I'll give you the summary and then the link to the replay.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry.
Are you okay? So it's 11 o'clock. She's just like, oh. And Salome,
it's a pretty heavy
well.
topic for late at night. Pretty heavy topic, but yeah, the closing out. It's just a really beautiful space, and I'm so grateful for Sophie for, you know, sharing with you all. And I really do hope that, you know, you all kind of get a glimpse of what's possible for all of you. For, you know, those who are catching the replay as well, like, you know, the message here is that it is possible. It doesn't matter what your current money story is or how much money you've got. You want to invest it that feels good and nourishing to your soul, and you want it to continue to nourish you so that we can all get on mission work and, you know, start doing the things that really light us up. Because that's all we're all here for the same, I believe, the same purpose is to be our best. And we cannot operate at our best if we're in fear or worried about money or where the next paycheck's going to come from. And that's just not a space that we need to continue playing in anymore.
Yeah.
And also I'm going to be dropping the link to Lee's Digital Intel Women on, it's on Telegram. So I can drop that as well. I think this one we can all join, right? Where all the women.
Yes, the channel, I'll drop information, and it's good that you've had a glimpse, because then when I drop, I'll drop a coin that I know is going to go up, and you've got about 12 hours or 24 hours to either invest in that one and reap the profits. You know, so I drop a lot of clues, I drop world events, it's all linked, and so sometimes it's a bit of a Sudoku puzzle. You kind of got to put the pieces together, and if you love that space, if that really lights you up, like your brain, I find that women really get lit by, you know, these kinds of drops, then then we can dive deeper. I've also got my website up, digitalintelwomen.com, and on that I blog. Anytime someone comes to me and, you know, presents a story or a project that they want to get involved in. I wrote about a project that one of the ladies wants to get involved with building community for women, because women at this age group around sort of actually in the 50s, women are the #1 homeless in Australia, and so, I mean, what's going on? So we really want to make a difference. She wants to help on housing projects, and she wants to invest in cryptocurrencies that support that. So there's a cryptocurrency called Proppy, which is about the property market. It's a woman software developer that's created it, and so we've invested in projects like that. So I write about that on my blog. So I've also written about why do we need to make blockchain greener, and then why not Bitcoin. So if you just want sort of a bit more intel, then I drop that there.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
That's why it's so much clearer in my mind.
You're welcome. And if there's any questions, just let me know, Sophie. If there's anything, if we need to do a follow-up or anything like that, we can do that.
Right.
So much. Thank you for joining, and let me know if you've got any questions. I'll post the summary and the replay as well, so that you get all the details.
Yeah, excited. Hopefully we'll get to see your faces in this space, because it's super fun. Super fun making money.
Thank you very much. Sophie, il faut dire bisous bisous à la dame.
Bisous, bisous.
She's
She's gone.
she's gone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bonne soirée.
Bye.
Bye.